Hello, my dear learner. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to lesson number 5. In our lesson number 5, we'll continue with our discussion on the topic ethics. But then again, this is the last item that we'll be considering under the area of ethics. We will be looking at market manipulation and insider trading. Similarly, this is a part of a conflict of interest, and the origin or genesis of this item is our first principle of corporate governance. The first specific principle of corporate governance, that is the first part of that principle, states that the corporate governance framework should promote transparent and efficient markets. Now, basically the markets we are referring to here, it is the market for securities or the market for commodities. So it is important that directors ensure that there is transparency when it comes to the market for securities, and that market is supposed to be allowed to operate freely based on the forces of demand and supply. Any attempt by a director to influence the operations of those markets or the operations of that is the market for shares or any other form of securities for that matter would be deemed to be market manipulation. The aim of market manipulation would be to make a gain or a loss. We are defining market manipulation as any attempt or any deliberate attempt to interfere with the free and fair operation of the market. This is market manipulation, market manipulation. Any deliberate attempt to interfere with the free operation of the market. That is a deliberate attempt to interfere with the free and fair operation of the market and create artificial, false, or misleading appearances with respect to the price of or market for a security, commodity, or currency. Practices considered market manipulation will be of two forms, or will assume two forms. One, basically there are two forms of market manipulation. Two forms of market manipulation. The first one is disclosure-based market manipulation. Disclosure-based market manipulation. Now, this kind of manipulative conduct is where somebody discharges information or makes use or takes advantage of certain information which creates a false impression in the markets, leading to people either offloading their shares or buying more shares. So this manipulative conduct occurs when a person disseminates a false or misleading information which has the effect of misleading other participants in the market about the value or trading volume of a security. It generally involves one releasing information that misleads the market, and in this way materially affects the price of a security. The other form of market manipulation is trade-based market manipulation. Trade-based market manipulation. This is where somebody goes ahead to buy or sell a security with the intention of creating a certain impression, which then misleads others into also taking action based on that particular move. So we will define trade-based market manipulation as the buying or selling of a security by a person which misleads or deceives other participants in the markets about the volume or about the value or trading volume of the security. And we're saying the objective of this form of manipulative conduct would be normally to make money or to avoid a loss. Now, any such attempts or any such form of manipulative conduct is obviously going to affect the free operation of the market, and it will not be fair. Directors have a duty to promote free and fair operations of the market. Now, insider trading. Insider trading. The relationship between insider trading and market manipulation is in that they are all related to the operations of the market for securities. A company possesses confidential information, better known as company-owned information. And this information is not supposed to be made available to the public, because if it is made available to the public, then it would influence the decisions and actions of the public towards the shares or securities of a company. So the public, this information is supposed to remain in confidence. Insider trading is taking action, making an investment decision based on company's own information. Information that is not in the public domain, and which information, if it were available to the public, then it would influence the price or value of a security in such a market. So insider trading is going to be defined as a situation where someone makes an investment based on material information that is not available to the general public, and possession of such information allows such an individual to profit or avoid losses. It is basically the trading of securities by individuals with potential non-public information about the company. It is therefore the trading of a public company's stock or other securities, such as bonds or stock options, by individuals with access to non-public information about the company. What is inside information? Inside information is going to be defined as information which is not available to the market or the general public, and such information is supposed to remain confidential. When an insider buys or sells securities based upon company-owned information, he or she is violating their contracts with and the fiduciary duty to the shareholders. What insider trading does is that it undermines the investor confidence, and it also interferes with the fairness and integrity of the security markets, for the simple reason that there is no a level playing ground. Some people have an undue advantage over others by the fact that they possess this non-public information. Now, we have two forms of insider trading. Forms of insider trading. And the two forms of insider trading are legal insider trading and illegal insider trading. People may mistakenly think of insider trading to be an illegality, but not all the times insider trading is going to be legal, so that there is also a legal aspect of insider trading. Now, what is legal insider trading? At times it is possible for insiders to conduct bona fide business amongst themselves within the conditions of possession of the same amount of information and the need to disclose such a transaction or business that they conduct. So every time our insiders are engaged in transactions, genuine transactions amongst themselves, while in possession of the same information, and when the disclosure is made public, then this is legal insider trading. There is no wrong about it. So basically, legal insider trading occurs when insiders, and insiders will be defined as officers, directors, and shareholders, engage in bona fide commercial transactions amongst themselves, and where such dealings are disclosed and made public. An important condition for insider trading to be legal is that all parties should be in possession of the same information, and again that the dealings should be made public. The other form of insider trading is the illegal one, and this is obviously where one conducts such transaction in breach of the fiduciary duty that they have towards others. So illegal insider trading refers to the buying or selling of a security in breach of the fiduciary duty or other relationship of trust and confidence, while in possession of material non-public information about the company. So it is illegal insider trading that is bad and that has the potential of compromising the confidence of the investors in the market for securities. We now proceed to another item under this area, which is whistleblowing. 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 With the Companies Act in place, with the corporate governance framework in place, and other rules, people may still be tempted to engage in malpractices and thereby subject the investors to the risk of losses and misuse of their resources. Organizations might have a set, or in practice, organization will have in place a set of processes to bring to light or to expose malpractices that are likely going to take place or to be propagated within the company by managers and other leaders of the company. And these mechanisms or processes will take the form of whistleblowing processes. A whistleblower is a party who considers the interests of the larger society to be paramount, as opposed to the interests of the organization that they serve. And a whistleblower will take an initiative to report, to make known any actions that are not consistent with the objectives of the organization. So that whistleblowing is the process of bringing to light or exposing malpractices in the organization. So generally, whistleblowing is going to be defined as the act of reporting wrongdoing within an organization to internal and external parties. It is raising a concern about malpractices within an organization through an independent structure associated with it. And as I said, whistleblowers are normally driven by the desire to serve the larger interest. So whistleblowers believe that the interest of the public overrides the interest of the organization that they serve, and they consider it good to come out and make public any actions in the organization that do not support the public interest. If an organization is going to bring down the level of fraud and malpractices in an organization, it needs to have in place an effective whistleblower policy. Whistleblower policy. Now, generally, the whistleblower policy does not only reduce fraudulent activities, but also sends a signal to both internal and external agencies that an organization exercises good corporate governance. The policy is normally drafted and implemented by management, but then it should first be submitted to the audit committee and the board of directors for for it to be sanctioned for rectification. Now, what will be the main contents of a whistleblower policy, or a policy that is going to be considered effective? One is objectives. These are the contents of a whistleblower policy. One, objectives of the policy. Right. Basically, this is a clear description of what the policy is aimed at, what it is aimed at achieving. Then again, we have scope of the policy. Scope of the policy. Basically, this is who it covers, the main activities or issues of concern, that is the misconduct or the offenses that is envisaged by the policy. In addition, it also involves the procedures of making a claim, that is procedures of making disclosure. Here, there must be a clear set of processes through which a person intending to make a disclosure can do so. So, by process, we mean the methods to be used by employees to report evidence of fraudulent activities. Again, the steps to be followed in filing claims, the manner of investigation, and again, how the claim is going to be enforced. In addition to the procedure, there is the non or confidentiality requirement. Confidentiality. Whistleblowers, this seeks to protect the whistleblower by not letting out the information that they have made or they have provided. Because of course, this being maybe an employee or a junior officer of the company, they are subject to the risk of victimization or repercussions for taking such a step. So it needs to accord. There needs to be a mechanism within the policy to accord the whistleblower some form of protection as to their identity. In addition, we also need non-retaliation provisions. Non-retaliation provisions. A guarantee. This is a guarantee that if anything, this confidentiality sometimes may be breached so that the identity of the whistleblower is known. Then again, there needs to be further protection to the whistleblower by requiring that no one would victimize or take certain measures to try to penalize or punish an individual who chose to come out and protect the larger public interests. Another component making up the whistleblowing policy is the communication processes. This is very important when it comes to the disclosure. What channels do employees use to come out with this kind of information? The kind of channels that are also going to protect the identity of the whistleblower. So by communication systems, we're referring to reporting mechanisms that are put in place to allow people to channel or raise issues of concern, such as the telephone, email, hotlines through which people can report or suggestion boxes for that matter, ensuring the safety and confidentiality of the identity of the party who is providing this kind of information. Now, if we are going to discourage organizational fraud and malpractices, an organization should strive to put together an effective whistleblowing policy, and that way then it will serve as a supporting framework to the existing corporate governance rules and the Companies Act, which is the main oversight system to the company management processes. This brings us to our last item under ethics, which we will also be considering under this lesson, which is a market manipulation and insider trading. And the specific item is a dispute resolution mechanisms. Dispute resolution mechanisms. Now, organizations or corporations have a duty to defend their image and reputation. The business reputation might be everything, and a damaged reputation may cost a business a lot. And conflicts will always arise in organizations. And by conflicts, we mean disagreements. And the most common types of governance disputes will involve the board's powers and actions, or its failure or refusal to act. These conflicts may arise between the board and its shareholders, or between directors and the executive management. They may also involve issues among the directors themselves and between the board and other stakeholders, the company and the suppliers, maybe the company and the financiers. All these are groupings within which conflicts may arise. Now, it is important that organizations find ways that are not very destructive to resolve conflicts, because the sensitivity of the approach that is going to be used in resolving conflicts has an implication on the continued reputation of the business and thereby its goodwill. Dispute resolution mechanisms prevent, resolve, and reduce the negative impact of corporate governance disputes, and consequently contribute to improving corporate governance practices, strengthening investor confidence, and supporting business continuity. The most traditional way of settling disputes is litigation. But then again, litigation faces quite an amount of challenges. One, it is very lengthy, and litigation takes time. And two, it involves a lot of costs. And ultimately, it may even lead to payment of damages, which may be of a great magnitude to the organization. So, businesses should opt for different ways of resolving conflicts that will have a lesser effect or implication on the organization. So, other than litigation, other common ways of mitigating conflicts include, or the dispute resolution mechanisms include: one, the common one we're saying is litigation. We also have arbitration, the second method. We have mediation. Four, we have special dispute boards. And five, expert appointments. The last four may be considered ideal, or may be considered as the ideal methods of resolving conflicts in an organization for reasons that I have mentioned. The fact that litigation takes time, it is lengthy. Two, it involves a lot of cost. And three, and most importantly, it may damage an organization's reputation. It might leave it in a situation where people may start losing confidence in it. So, what are these other methods of resolving conflicts? When we talk of arbitration, arbitration is simply the settlement of a dispute between parties to a contract by a neutral party or a neutral third party, who is better known as the arbitrator, without resorting to court action. What happens here? The arbitrator listens to both sides involved in the dispute, and using that information, and then they will rule or make the final decision, which is binding to those parties. A mediation, which is the third method, also known as conciliation, is where persons, or it's a process whereby parties request a third person or a mediator to assist them in an attempt to reach an amicable settlement of their disputes arising out of or relating to a contractual or other legal relationship The conciliator or mediator does not have the authority to impose upon the parties a solution to the dispute. So the difference with arbitration here is that the arbitrator rules or makes the final decision which is binding on the parties, while the place of a mediator is simply to create a free environment within which the two parties can deliberate in and thereby arrive at their own solution, which doesn't come from the mediator. So the place of the mediator in this process is just to try to neutralize the environment within which they will be deliberating towards arriving or reaching at a good solution or resolution to the problem. Then the other method other than the first three is what we are calling disputes or special dispute boards. And dispute boards are normally created by contract to aid the parties in resolving their disagreements. They have in the recent years become very common because they provide a less adversarial dispute resolution method or environment as opposed to mediation and litigation. Board members may be called upon as soon as these are the people making up the boards can be called upon as soon as a problem arises and help the parties resolve the conflicts in a short time. And the last approach is expert appointment. This is where a specialized person or a consultant, an expert, is engaged so that they can help parties to a conflict come or arrive at an amicable solution to the problem or resolution to a conflict. This brings us to the end of our discussion on the topic ethics, and this is an important area as far as this syllabus is concerned, and I would encourage you, my dear learner, not to leave it at that. What we are doing here, due to limitation of time and other factors, we cannot do as much as we're supposed to do. These things will not only be meaningful to you for purposes of passing exams, but you will need to apply them in real life situations and practical job situations. So I will continue encouraging you further to take the initiative and learn more by making additional references. I again remind you to refer to the manifested study text, wherein you can find additional content which you can use to enrich your understanding of these areas. You can as well again subject yourself to a set of questions to assess how well you've been following or understanding this content by again referring to the manifested publishers revision partner, wherein you can find a set of questions and the answers or model answers. You see how well you're able to tackle those questions. On this note, bye-bye and see you in our next lesson.